Hey, football fans, this is Gary Greene in Las Vegas, longtime sports handicapper and professional sports bettor for the past 35 years. And this is your Monday night football preview between the LA Chargers and the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals a small home underdog in this one, either 1.5 or 2 points. The total pretty solid at 44. Obviously no weather difficulties for this game, which is always a good thing. When we look at the two teams and how they match up against each other, first we look at the LA Chargers. Their offense is the fourth worst yardage-wise in the NFL. They average only 281 yards per game. The good news is the defense doesn't allow 300 yards per game either. So it's a type of vanilla defense, a grinded-out offense, and just try to hang in there. And the situation now for the Chargers is the defense is going to be forced to win games a lot for them, or at least keep them in the games, because they don't have the wide receiver talent that they had in the past years. As far as the defense, though, they've been lights out, and that's even without their star defensive pass rusher, Joey Bosa. They've allowed 10, 3, 20, 17, and 16. So most points they allowed was 20, and even that was with a late touchdown by Pittsburgh, where they were holding their own at a 10-10 late in that ball game. So the defense has done its fair share. I guess you could say they could be better than 3-2. When you play defense like that, you probably should have a better record. But you know, we talk a lot about home stats or road stats as far as the Chargers go. Basically, every game they play is on the road, because even the games at home, 90% of the fans are there rooting for the other team. So you never really have home support, so you have to really give a lot of credit to these players for the Chargers. And the key thing, turnaround with this team so far, is the culture. New culture, new head coach, Jim Harbaugh, who has always won everywhere he's gone. He's basically brought the exact same mentality as the Michigan Wolverines in college football, where he won a national championship, and he's carried that over to this team, and it's played out. The difference is, it doesn't seem like the last few years that the players like the head coach. This time around, they absolutely love playing for Harbaugh, and they're not risk takers. They'll more than happily punt the ball and take no chances. Of course, their quarterback Herbert's been banged up all year too, so that really hasn't helped at all. But this is a situation where the offense has only turned it over 2 times the entire year. 1 interception thrown by Herbert and 1 fumble lost. You do that, you're going to be in every game. Even if you're an average team, you will play in every single game. So that's bode well for them so far this year. As far as the defense, it's number 6 in the NFL. They're holding opponents, like I said, under 300 total yards per game, and they're only allowing 13 points a game. You allow 13 points a game, again, you're going to be in every ball game. As for the Arizona Cardinals, okay, now the offense has gotten a little bit better than last year for the most part. This is a team devoid of wide receiver talent too. I mean, Marvin Harrison's been okay on a couple of touchdown catches that he's had, but for the most part, they can't really rely on big plays. Kyler Murray is actually playing his best year as far as not turning the ball over. He's gotten much better. He learned finally coming into the season. He's got 8 touchdown passes. He's only got 2 interceptions. So if he can do that, he will keep them in the games a lot this year, and he will definitely keep them in this game, because this is going to be a conservative type ball game as far as I'm concerned. But when you're betting on the Cardinals, you know, what you get is what you get. They're like a box of chocolates. One week you get the good chocolates, the next week you get the crappy ones that you want to throw right away. You can't really make any rhyme or reason out of it. You know, for the most part, the offensive line's not that good. It's in the 3rd tier of probably 4 tiers. And the worst news ever was that they lost their stud right guard, Hernandez. So that's not a good thing. I'm big on offensive lines. And, you know, Kyler Murray, he has been sacked, I think, 15, 16 times so far this year. 11 times actually, but you know, the bottom line is he could have been sacked 30 times, because he really eludes a lot of rushes that a lot of other cornerbacks can't do. So that's a positive. I really like the running back Connor for Arizona. This kid's a bulldozer. He's really hard to tackle. The problem is that they just don't keep possessing the ball long enough to really get to the 3rd and 4th quarters, where you can just rely on running backs to wear down the opposing defenses. They're just not on the field long enough, and the total plays are not there, and they're not able to put their will on other teams. So you get to that situation. But Kyler Murray and Connor, they've rushed the ball 120 times combined, and they're rushing it for 5.5 yards per carry. That's solid. Again, we'll see what's going to happen going forward here. without one of their top offensive linemen. But my worry when you're betting the LA Chargers with this offense, the first halves they've played really well. And I don't know if it was over-conservative calling, because I try to make notes on all these game tapes when I watch them. I watch the games on Sunday, and I'm watching 5, 6 at once, so you miss some stuff. But when I go back to the tapes, I try to see if there's anything that I'm missing. And I just think they got so vanilla in the second half. They're trying not to lose, and I hate that. I hate that theory when coaches do that in any sports. And that's the situation, because if you look at this team and their 5 games, in this second half of the games this year, they played Carolina, they only got 2 field goals. Against Pittsburgh, they got no points. 5 possessions, 5 punts. In the second half at Denver, 3 points. They were holding on to a big lead in that game, and then they almost blew it at the end. And then their second half against Kansas City, no points. So this is a complete debacle in the second half. They're not able to do anything, and that's because they're not putting their will on anybody, even though they rely more on the running game than they do on the passing game, especially with Herbert hurt. They do play a very vanilla type of offense, and Herbert has 6 touchdown passes, but he's only turned it over 1 time. He's been sacked 9 times, but again, I'll attribute a little bit of that to the fact that he has been banged up with a bad leg. As far as the offense goes, they have no stud wide receivers. They got the young lad McConkey, who decent talent, I guess, good speed, good yards after catch guy. But then Quentin Johnson, who's actually having a better year than he's had the last few. But these aren't superstar kind of guys, and you really have to have that to survive on a regular week-to-week basis to get a high-flying offense. And so they're going to be a grinder offense. Jim Harbaugh has been a conservative coach anyway, John Harbaugh. And the fact is that keeps his teams in games. He's been really in all these games this year, but it also hurts the offense from getting in any type of rhythm. So my final thoughts on this game, this is a real tough one. I won't be taking any action in this game, but Arizona, again, is one of the hardest teams to gauge week to week. As far as the Chargers go, you know exactly what you're going to get. So you take few risks, you hang in there, you play a conservative game, and you try to sneak out wins. And so far they've done enough of it to get a 3-2 record. Now they come in off a bye week. Neither team has had the elite wide receivers that I feel I like to bet on. I don't like betting on teams that I expect that are just going to barely win the game. And in this case, we had a week this week of a lot of lower spreads. I think there was 5 3-point games and then 5 3 or 1.5 point lines like you see in this game. Although you can shop around and get 1.5, 2 on this game. You want to shop around if you're taking Arizona, but this is a game that I expect to be very, very close-knit, back and forth. The team that probably commits, it's silly to say, but the team that commits the most turnovers is going to end up losing this game. I'm very interested to see how the offensive lines play in this game, what quarterback can make the bigger plays, and I think it could come down to special teams. Special teams, I believe, will probably end up being the ending of this game. A field goal kicker's going to kick a field goal to win the game at the end, probably win by a field goal or 1-2 points, just like we saw with the Green Bay game against the Texans. But again, this is a very, very tough game. And you don't have to bet all the games. That's one of the tips that I tell people. I know a lot of people just automatically think you have to bet games. If you just keep staying in action, the longer you keep betting lots and lots of games, it's just like the games now or the sports books offering in-game betting, play-to-play. You'll never win. You'll never beat the books like that. And you'll never beat the books just playing every single game just because it's on TV. So be careful of that. Be wary of that. It's okay to pass. Just watch the games and enjoy it. I know it's probably not as fun for me. Every game is like homework for me. I feel like I'm in college for 35 years. I have homework every night. But the bottom line is that these are games like this one that are going to be very tough. And then you'll probably end up either being very lucky to win or very unlucky to lose. So just stay away from these type of games. So hopefully you had a great weekend, and may all your wagers be winning ones. Enjoy the games tonight. Doubleheader for Monday night. Another good one with the Baltimore-Tampa Bay game that I have a preview on. So check out for the video of that, and check out all our videos here at Gary Wins. I'm Gary Greene, and have a great week ahead.